guys, well, as you can see, I've got one or two problems in the pond, but that's really expected at this time of year. The fish just coming out of winter are at a very low ebb, the resistance is low, and this is when the parasites in the pond tend to thrive, I'm afraid. So I did notice that I'd got one or two fish flicking and decided to do a scrape, and unfortunately I found flukes and ick, so I've got to get them tret, which isn't a cheap hobby, as one or two of you will know. But anyway, I've got myself some formaldehyde there, and I've got myself some fluke solve. Well, it does say on the formaldehyde bottle that it does treat flukes, but unfortunately I found in the past that it doesn't. If you look at one of my previous videos where I used this to treat the flukes, my fish got in a real bad state, which is when I found the actual fluke solve, which is very good. Very expensive, but very good. It works, and if it works, I don't suppose it matters. There's nothing worse than paying for a treatment that doesn't. But having said that, the formaldehyde is good on things like ick and costa and that sort of thing. So what I've got to do is treat for both. So I shall start by using the formaldehyde. I shall give that a dose and then another dose in a week's time, and I shall follow that up with the fluke treatment. I did find one or two body flukes in the scrape, so I'm going to treat that as well and hope that does the trick. But after using fluke solve, as with any fluke treatment, don't forget there's none of those fluke treatments out there do treat the eggs or kill the eggs of the flukes. So once you've done your treatment for your flukes, you will not need to follow it up again in 2.5 or 3 weeks time with another dose to kill any eggs that's hatched. Anyway, I'm going to get the formaldehyde mixed up, mix it in a bucket of water. I should probably do it in a couple of mixes and then add it to the pond. It will turn my pond a greeny blue colour, but that'll only last a couple of 3 days. Well guys, as you can see, I'm all set up to start hoovering out. We've got a half tidy day. Ever since I took the pond covers off, it's done nothing but wind and rain for a whole week, so I've got absolutely nothing done. But I've got the pond covers off, as you know, and now I'm going to start to get it hoovered out. There's a bit of dead algae kicking about, so I want to get rid of that, and we'll give it a clean out. I want to replace some water anyway. I want to do a bit of a water change, so I've got the water just running to the garden, but we'll get it cleaned out and see where we go from there. Well guys, as you can see, we're a little bit cloudy now. I'm just waiting for it to top up again and clear a little bit, but I'm about halfway. I don't know whether you'll see a lot because there's some glare on the pond, but I'm about halfway with the hoover now, and we're getting there. The sides are looking a bit cleaner. Just see if I can zoom in a little bit there for you. The sides are definitely looking a bit cleaner. I've got rid of all the algae. I'm just taking it off the bottom at the moment, but we're getting there. Things are starting to come together and they look a lot cleaner. I'm not worried about the pond being cloudy. The filter will soon sort that out. That will clear that up in less than half a day. But yeah, the algae killer, the Resolve, I think is pretty good stuff. There's no mess at all, not like with the cloverleaf. So I'm impressed. Well guys, I'm getting on like a house on fire today. I've got everything pressure washed down. Pond's all pressure washed down. I've hoovered it out, I've brushed it out. It is a bit cloudy at the moment, as you can see, but that'll soon go. I've got all my paths done. There's no stopping me at the moment. Great stuff. And it's still only 5 to 3 in the afternoon, but what a glorious day. Absolutely fantastic to be doing your pond. Beautiful. Now, one of the main things with this formaldehyde is you've got to turn your UV off, so do make sure your UV is turned off, else it won't have the effect it should. So that's got my UV switched off. Let's go and get it mixed up. Okay guys, I've got my can full of pond water, a stirring stick, and I'm going to measure it out in 40ml, not sure whether you can see that, in 40ml doses into the can. So here goes the first one in there. That's one. Now we've got to fill it up again. 40ml. That's two. Fill it up again. That's three. And I'll fill it up again. We'll put 4 in this one, I want 3 in another. Up to the 40ml mark. Right, now do be careful with this stuff. As you can see, I'm doing it on a towel. It really does stain, so don't get it on you. So now I'm going to give that a good stir. Get it all stirred up nicely. There is a bit of breeze, so I hope it's not affecting the sound too much. I have come in the shade out of the way, hoping it's not going to bother us too much. Give that a good stir. Make sure it's all well mixed in. Now I've got the extra air stones on the pond. I shan't have to uprate the airflow into the pond. I have turned it up a little bit, but we'll get this into the pond. You might get a bit of wind, so I apologise, because we're moving out to the pond. I just want to see, I want you to see it going in, basically. Like I say, don't get it on your stonework or anything like that. We have got a bit of wind here, so it is awkward. And up this end. Right, that's one dose in. As you can see, I've got a little bit on the stonework there. I'll get some water on that. And we'll do the same again with the next dose. Okay, that's got it in the pond. Just give you a quick look before the wind gets too bad. That's got it in the pond anyway, so let's hope it does the trick. Right guys, I'm back on the filter for the vacuum, pond vac. So I was going to use this, and to be honest, it's just too flimsy. I think I've had a bit of a change of heart, but what I have got is the backsplash that came off with that, and what I'm going to use is that, because it is a lot tougher. So this is actually the backsplash, well, you can see it properly, the backsplash that came off with the cooker hood and everything. So I'm going to use that. It is a lot thicker metal. It is, of course, as the same as the other stuff. It's stainless steel, so I'm okay. So that's what I'm going to make the chute out of. Right, well, what I've got now is I've got the actual sheet cut out from the old backsplash. And as you can see there, I've made the chute to fit inside the box. That's what the water will run down. I've got the bulkhead fitted in that end, so the water's going to run in and over the mesh down the chute. I'm going to mesh the chute, and hopefully it'll be something like a pre-filter with a bit of luck, but that is a lot more sturdy than the other piece that I was going to use, was the cowling off the vent. That's a lot more sturdier. Quite pleased with that. And like I say, it's all stainless steel, so we should be fine. Okay, that's it. That's the chute. I've cut the centre out, as you can see. So we're ready to fit the mesh to that now. I've got all the holes drilled for the second section, which fits underneath it, which is this section here. That fits underneath it, if I can stand out the light. that section bolts to the underside of it, which traps the mesh. So I've just got the mesh to put between it, and then I can fit that. So that's the two sections. I've left a strut down the centre of it, down there, so that it'll help support the mesh, I think, from the underside. If we do get a lot of rubbish land on it, it will stop it pulling on the mesh. So we'll have to get it together and see how it goes. Right guys, what I've got here is the old mesh off the RDF. I did keep it, I thought it might come in handy. So I'm going to use that for the mesh on this pond vac filter and get that fitted to the slide that I've made. So I'm going to get that done next. And there we go, that's the slide with the mesh in and fitted. So it's like I say, it's a similar style to the pre-filter. The water's going to come in through the bulkhead across the mesh. The water's going to drop through the mesh, hopefully, leaving the dirt on top, and the dirt's going to get pushed down towards this end of the slide. So now I've got the box to do. I want to partition in that box, so I'm going to get that in. But quite pleased with that, looks good. Well guys, I just thought I'd give you a quick look at my pond during the night. It's about 9 o'clock at night here at the moment, but that's the pond and the garden. You can see how the bubbles in the lights do shine up well. That was the reason for putting them near the lights. All the fish are quite happy, the water's quite warm, it's about 17 degrees in there, 18 degrees. We've had a couple of real hot days at the moment, and the weather's been fantastic. It's been really good. So we're getting some things done at the moment, which is all good. Okay guys, what I've got here is the last section of airline that's going into the pond. We've got an absolutely beautiful day here today, but there is a bit of breeze, I'm afraid. This is the nice breeze that's brought all this weather up from the south, but it is a pain when you're trying to take some video. I'll try to keep my shadow out of the way. Now what I was asked, as I'm fitting these taps to the bottom of the airline that go into the bottom of the pond, how do I turn them off? Well, what I forgot to show you in the last video is I did make up, I've got some 40mm pipe, and I did make up, I've dropped a reducer into it and cut it so that it actually slots onto the top of the taps. So from the top of the pond, I hope you can see that, that just slots over. I can actually turn the taps up or down as I want from the top of the pond, and that's what I've actually done. That actually fits over the tap like so, and I can adjust them from the top of the pond. I did forget to show you that on the last video, but that's what I use, that piece of pipe there. It's about 3 foot, I would think, so I might get my hands wet, and that's what I adjust the airflow to the stones with at the bottom of the pond. And there we go, that's all 5 air stones running in the pond. That's all 5 up and running, and quite happy with that. There's the fish swimming nicely. They've picked up, now the water's come a lot warmer. The flicking has slowed down a bit, I must admit, after adding the formaldehyde, but they're all in there happily swimming away, enjoying themselves. They've been chasing each other about, so it shows they're happy. The lilies aren't coming quite so well, I don't think, this year, because I didn't get them replanted at the end of last year. I just didn't get round to it, I'm afraid, and as you can see, they're starting to grow out of the baskets. Hope you can see that, but they are starting to grow outside the baskets. I'll get them done at the end of this season, ready for next season. There's some that want cutting off there, I think they call them kernels, want cutting off and replanting. That's them that's growing out of the basket. But like I say, I'll get them done at the end of this season. Okay guys, what I've got up this end, just under that where it flows in, under the bulkhead, I have actually welded a little bracket there, plastic welded it. That's what the actual mesh frame will sit on. That's just going to support the mesh frame, that end. And now I've got to get the partition in this end of the box. Now the stage I'm up to with the pond vac filter that's going to allow me to return the water to the pond, I hope. I've got it all welded in. I've got the partition welded in. So this side will be the clean water side, and I'm hoping the dust's going to collect in here. I have fitted a 40mm bulkhead to the bottom there, so I've got a 2" on the top and a 40mm on the bottom. And on this side, that's where it comes out. That will return it back to the pond. So that will put it back in the pond. So hopefully we'll give it a test and see how we get on. I did actually, on this 2" coupling, warmed all this side up and then pushed, when it was hot, pushed my pond vac into there, the pipe from on the pond vac, so it does actually push in there nicely and just holds tight. So that'll just push fit that, which will be just the job if everything works okay. Okay, what I've got here is I've made up a couple of brackets out of stainless steel. It's quite thick stainless steel actually, because what I want it for, as I've got no plant shelves in the pond, I've made these brackets up so that I can actually fix them to the side of the pond and then put the baskets on top of these brackets. Now I have very carefully rounded all these edges off with the grinder. They are nice and round. Every edge has been taken off it, the ends have been blunted and made nice and round, just as a precaution. I don't want the fish getting caught on them or anything. You won't see them because obviously the basket's going to lay on this section here and it'll come out just over the edge, so there shouldn't be any problem really. But they are stainless steel, like I say, so that shouldn't be a problem, and I'm hoping it works. I'll show you guys when they're fitted. And there we go, that's the plant box in the pond. Looks quite nice, I think. 2 or 3 more of them in. Look good. Happy with that. Well guys, that just about brings us to the end of another video. So as always, do take care. Thanks for watching and happy ponding.